All right, Drew Eubanks.
What does it mean for you? Sorry, Mike Richmond, Locked On Blazers. They really want me to say my affiliation. What does it mean for you to be here on this team in the place you grew up and all those things?
It's a crazy feeling, honestly. Like, the best way I could sum it up is just like proud. Like, my dad was asking me what the difference was between when I started the season with San Antonio this last year and then finished with the Blazers. I played like a lot better in my mind and in a lot of people's eyes. So he was like, what was different about your mindset going into the season and everything? I told him I could just chalk it up to just being proud and like going out there, and I felt like I was playing for the people I grew up with, people who knew who I was out here, and like Oregon State, Reynolds, Troutdale, anyway. So it's just that's what I could say. Best way I could say it is just playing with pride and knowing that like the majority of the people have been following me that are in the stands, and it's a cool feeling.
Was it validating get that contract?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I knew I worked hard, and I knew I deserved it too. So it's just I know I'm in the position where I constantly got to prove myself every year. But yeah, I'm just happy to be back.
Drew, Sean Hyken, Rose Garden Report. It sounds like the backup 5 minutes is going to kind of be between you and Trendon. Do you have any expectations for, where you're going to be in the rotation, or kind of what your role is going to be, or how many minutes or any of that? Have you talked with Joe or Chauncey about that yet?
No. Just whatever the team needs, really. Just go out there and play, and whatever the team needs. If they need more of a traditional big, or if they need sort of small ball 5, is whatever. So.
Hey, Drew. Austin White from the Portland Tribune. We kind of touched on it back when Gary signed, but obviously your Oregon State teammate. What's it been like? Have you caught up with him this summer at all? Catching up with him from Oregon State days? And
Yeah.
how excited are you to play with him?
No. Gary, he's the exact same he was the way he acted when he was a senior at Oregon State, and went to the football game with him the other day when they came up here and played at Providence Park, and that was fun. But Gary's Gary. He's still the same guy. He's a character for sure. But no, it's been great. He's Gary Payton. I mean, I don't know. That's just how he is. You gotta get around him.
The buzzword from like Joe and Chauncey has kind of been connectedness, making this team more connected. What does that mean to you?
I mean, connected is a pretty broad word, but just getting to know each other on and off the court, that's a huge thing. That's excited. That's why we're going to Santa Barbara for training camp, get away from everything and just, lock into what we're doing down there and getting ready for the season. But I think our mindset and what Chauncey's been saying with the workouts leading up to training camp has just been like, we want to be the team that nobody else wants to play against. We want to be the hardest playing team and most connected team, and we got a lot of great guys, a lot of team first guys on this team, so I think we'll be really well connected.
Drew, Joe Becker from KETU. There's a lot of talent on this team, and how do you see the team, and how much success do you think you guys can have this year?
I think we can make a deep playoff run for sure, and that was even starting back when those kind of talks have been starting when I was here for the last little bit of the season. Dame was in everybody's ears, like, this is what we need to work on, this is where you need to do this, and that, and you could tell that we were building for something this year. And I think by signing Jeremy, signing Gary, re-signing Dame, re-signing Ant, just making all the moves to not only compete and make a deep playoff run this year, but in the future years. So I'm excited.
Drew, what have you kind of learned or absorbed, I guess, from watching Nurkic play? Obviously he was hurt a little bit towards the end, but what have you learned from him so far?
He's a great passer. saying he's a great passer, but he actually just got here recently, so I haven't gotten to play against him as much as I'd like to leading up to training camp. But just the way he uses his body and how he can make good reads, he's always looking at the floor while I'm trying to pressure him and disrupt his vision. But he's a great passer. He knows the offense well. He knows how to work with Dame and work with Ant and those guys. So he's one of the best bigs in the league. He's kind of like I want to say like in a class of his own. There's not a lot of guys that bang like him in the league. So I try to learn from him every day.
Hey, Drew, you played with San Antonio for the last couple of years, obviously, even going to Austin Spurs back and forth sometimes. How did that experience help you to become who you are today as a player and as a professional?
I think the thing it did for me was give me a better perspective of just how hard it is and the grind just to get in this position in the first place. Like there was times where I was making that drive, is like a 2-hour drive from San Antonio to Austin 3 or 4 times a week, and playing 5 or 6 games a week. So it gave me a little bit of perspective that a lot of people don't have coming into this, where they're like, maybe they've had everything given to them their whole life, or they've like just gotten the contract right away and this and that. So it's given me, I know what it's like being on the other side, trying to knock on the door and trying to get your foot in the door. So that'd probably be the biggest thing for me. And also getting to San Antonio when I was coming out of college, that was probably the perfect place for me. A lot of places, it's either sink or swim on your first or second year. And that place is really big on developing guys and getting your feet wet first. So I feel like I could say I may not be in this position that I'm in today if it wasn't for being getting to develop like that and having people take time on me like that. So,
Drew, Danny Brington, the fan, your relationship in building up like that pick and roll chemistry, because you didn't have those opportunities to play with Damian Lillard. Have you had the chance to kind of build some of that over kind of like the last month of guys kind of getting to town? And can you just speak on the idea of kind of how different it is working with somebody like Dame?
Yeah. I got a taste of it last year with playing with Ant for, I think, 3 or 4 games before he was out for the year. But just I've never really played with a guy where my guy's up at the level of the screen, blitzing or double teaming the ball handlers. So I know that's, like I said, growing up watching the Blazers, watching Nurk, he'll get that pocket pass from Dame, and then he's passing or he's at the rim or whatever. So I think I'm good in those situations when I do get the ball in those situations. Biggest thing working with Dame over the past couple weeks has just been like, set the pick, get out of there. And he's a good enough passer. He'll make the right play to get the ball to me, and then it's up to me to either find a shooter in the corner or floater or finish at the rim, whatever. But we've definitely been working on that. Yeah.